I disqualify myself up front. I don't play fantasy football. So if we're going to interpret this as a fantasy question, I'm out.
Okay.
I'm interpreting this as a football question. No, we do not. We do not. You will never fix that.
I'm not giving up hope.
I'm going to fix KC's opinion here because I so vehemently disagree. I think Tom Brady will have, if we can, a bounce-back season. And KC makes a strong point that down the stretch last year, Tom Brady wasn't very good. He was in by his standards, a slump. And I can back that up because he threw 5 of his 8 interceptions in the last 5 games. Half of his sub-300-yard games were in those last 5. So he was falling until he hit the Ravens. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. That was not Tom Brady against the Baltimore Ravens in an AFC Championship game at home. They have had his number before, so maybe it's just a Ravens thing. Yeah. But my point is, I can go to slump last year. I'm going to 2010 this year. I'm seeing a bounce-back Brady. He looks fitter. He looks happier. He looks like he's got a new bounce in his step. He is on a mission to take a whole new group of receivers. Obviously, the Aaron Hernandez debacle. Obviously, Gronkowski may not play at all this year. I don't know, but it looks like he could be in jeopardy to be gone for the whole year. All of a sudden, he's taking somebody named Zach Sudfeld, who was undrafted, a free agent from Nevada who had 7 surgeries in college. And every time I look up, he's making another play. And Brady's saying, watch this. He's taking Aaron Dobson, their 2nd-round pick, and saying, watch this. He's even taking that Kimbrell Tompkins. I don't know if you check him. He used to be a stud. Boy, he was a stud in high school in Miami. Bounced around college football. Was at Oklahoma for about 2 minutes. Then he went to Tennessee, and then he was all over the place. He can play, and I think Brady's going to say, watch this with him. Danny Amendola. We have reports, daily reports. He's missing practice this week, and we don't know exactly why, although it has been termed a minor injury. But Danny has had so many minor injuries over time and missed so many games, it scares me. I'm going to have to trust he's going to be okay, because if he's okay, he will be a quicker, faster Wes Welker with better hands than Wes Welker at least had last year. So I love what I'm seeing. Again, 2010, Tom Brady was a unanimous MVP with 36 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. I'm going to say he can be in that ballpark this year. He can have that kind of a year.
We do have to take it a little bit to a fantasy conversation. First of all, every quarterback this year is a little bit overrated. Because in fantasy, every quarterback is.
Which is why you never make the playoffs.
You know that the premium's on running backs, okay?
Okay, good. I accept that.
I won't derail the conversation by getting into a fantasy back and forth. But to me, Tom Brady, this looks like a year built for him to take a step back. And when I say him, I really mean the entire Patriots team. It's only so many losses and so many things you can absorb. And we're trusting right now in 2 people, Belichick and Brady. They're going to right the ship. The house of cards is not going to fall with all these losses. They, above any team, we've seen them before, stick names and faces we've never seen and ever heard of into positions, make everybody play their role, the Patriot way, yada, yada, yada. We know how this goes. But I think now that they have to rely so much on their offense, that defense is still unproven. They're still working some things out. That puts more pressure on Brady, more pressure on these young cast of characters we don't know to perform in roles they haven't before. You know, the thing about being an undrafted tight end, yeah, maybe the first couple of weeks you fool people, but after when people start getting some film on you and they understand how to play you, then it's a little bit a different scenario. Now, Tom Brady's going to be Tom Brady, but to expect him to put up those kind of numbers under this amount of pressure and all the fixing that has to be done, I think that would be expecting a little bit too much.
No, it would be expecting history to repeat itself. I have personally been on the front row to watch this movie year in and year out. And how many times do
you have covered this
covered them, lived in the area? I mean, anybody, I'm not the only person watching the Patriots, but I mean, how many times we've seen Tom Brady? He is a professional chicken salad maker, okay? He's a lemonade maker. You know the old sayings.
I know the old saying.
This is what he does season in and season out. I've seen him do it with David Gibbons and without David Gibbons, with Bethel Johnson without him, with Deion Branch without him. He didn't always have Randy Moss. He didn't always have Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez.
Well, he won 3 Super Bowls with no star receiver.
And made Troy Brown into a star. Troy Brown's a fantastic football player. Made him into a star. I've seen him do it with David Wiggins from East Boston, Massachusetts. It doesn't matter who you put out there with him. It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. It doesn't matter who you put behind him. All that matters is the guy he's looking to on the sideline. As long as he's looking at him and as long as he's under center, that team is going to be explosive. Josh McDaniels is back. Aaron Dobson is going to be very good. Okay, there's a reason they took him in the second round, although their draft history of second-round receivers in particular has been sketchy at best. But they evaluate guys to fit their system. If you know where you're supposed to be, Brady will find you. Chad Johnson was an aberration or an anomaly or an exception, whatever words you want to use. He didn't understand the system.
Okay, what about Brandon Lloyd? What about Brandon Lloyd?
Brandon Lloyd was effective. He wasn't great, but he was effective. I mean, they got the job done. If you're holding them to the, if you're saying, look, if the Patriots don't win the Super Bowl, then they're a failure, I get that.
No, I'm not saying that. I think you're not saying there will be a failure, but it's like we're stuck in this prism thinking this is the same Patriots organization that won those three Super Bowls. Have you seen them win a Super Bowl lately?
So you are saying without a Super Bowl, they're a failure. They've been back to two and two more AFC title games.
All I'm saying is that when they have these new cast of characters, we see it show up down the line. Now, it may be 11, 12 game, 12 wins in.
Let's just address the elephant in the room, please, can we? Let's just quit dancing around this for a second. You are among those people, Jamel Hill, who believe that ever since Spygate, they've been exposed because they haven't won a Super Bowl.
No, I never was on that train as if their success was somehow inauthentic because of that scandal. I was never on that train.
Keep it
that
real.
was the perception. I was never on that train.
Do you think they're cursed somehow?
You've always said they got something to prove.
I just think that some of the moves that they made in the short term, as in the regular season, they're good moves. They will get them through the regular season. But when they go and play better teams, like the Ravens, where they need superstars. They need somebody to make a superstar play, a wide receiver, a superstar running back play. They don't have that guy, and that's what they're missing.
They are.
Okay, so let's get back to Casey's premise here. Tom Brady is the most overrated quarterback in fantasy drafts. Are you buying?
Overvalued.
No. Yeah. Well, again, I'm going with the general premise. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks if you want to keep it to a fantasy conversation.
Why don't we?
But there are a lot of really good quarterbacks that you could put on your fantasy roster, okay? It's a running back. This is a running backs draft. Sure. So all of them are overrated to some degree. But to put Tom Brady in overrated, no, I don't think Tom Brady's overrated.
Will his numbers fall dramatically off? That's where we're getting.
Well, he set a high bar.
Yeah.
But dramatically off? No, I don't think he's as good as 36-4 in 2010. By the way.
Okay, so you don't think he'll be a 2010 Brady?
Yeah, that's a hard. Very few guys in history.
He was the first ever unanimous MVP.
Let me just point something out, by the way. Very impressed with your use of numbers this early in the show. I mean, you've won in both of our hearts. You always have a place.
I make numbers lie over here.
You can come prove it to us every day at 2 o'clock after you're done. Yeah. But that said, though, Brady's like Microsoft stock, okay? In fantasy, reality, whatever it is, you can count on him. He's solid. He's dependable. He may not be spectacular all the time, but he's definitely dependable.
But how far are you willing to say? He's just going to be dependable? How good would his year be? She says she doesn't expect them to be what they used to be. He says 2010. What do you say?
If he throws, let's go numbers. If he throws fewer than, say, 35 touchdown passes, if he's in the high 20s to early 30s, you know what that means? It means he's turning around. We ain't even mentioned Stephen Ridley, Shane Vereen, LeGarrette Blount. They can run the rock. So they might be even more balanced this year because of the lack of a superstar at wide receiver, at tight end, like you're talking about, Jamel. And he's willing, he's unselfish. See, the good thing about Brady, he ain't thinking fantasy. He ain't worried about where I draft him in the draft. He's thinking, you know what? Just like Peyton Manning. They dropping guys deep. You know, we got 7 in the box. I'm handing it off.
Yeah,
That's
he's
how
playing
he plays.
the advantage.
Yeah.